Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another Yoga Flow with Emily. That'd be me. So today feels a little bit heavy for me. I'm really stressed and anxious this afternoon. But we are all going through it. We are all in this together. And so if you are feeling stressed or you are feeling anxious or downright afraid, you're not alone, right? We are all experiencing that. So this practice is all about allowing yourself to experience whatever you've got to experience, right? And knowing that it's okay, right? You are allowed to have a bad day. You are allowed to feel stressed. You are allowed to feel anxious, and you are also allowed to have a good time in this tumultuous time in history, right? So be gentle on yourself. Be gentle on your body. It's going to be a nice, gentle flow, right? We will work a little bit. But for the most part, I want it to be relaxing and enjoyable, and I want you to feel good. So know that, as always, take what works for you and do that, and leave whatever doesn't work for you, right? You don't have to take it with you. Okay, so I'm going to have two blocks. You don't have to have blocks. You could have books or I don't know, whatever might work for you for just a little bit of extra support, but maybe you don't even need them. Up to you. Okay, so let's get started. So we are going to actually start lying on our backs. So take your time to get there. And when you do get there, just allow yourself to settle. So you can lay however you would like to lay with the legs, right? The legs could be out long like Shavasana, or maybe your knees are bent and falling in on each other. Or maybe you're even finding Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. So it's whatever feels best for you. And then maybe you just rest your hands on your rib cage or your belly. Then take a big breath in, breath out, let it all go. And just allow yourself to notice anything that comes up here, right? So it could just be some sensation in the body, right? Maybe you're feeling tight somewhere, or maybe you're feeling relief somewhere, right? Maybe this position is soothing and relaxing. Or maybe you're noticing the breath, right? Feeling the expansion of the belly, the rise and fall of the chest. Or maybe you're just noticing some emotion, right? And that is okay too. And you don't have to banish that emotion. You are allowed to feel it. And let's take another big breath in. Breath out. And then slowly, if they are not already, bend the knees so that the soles of the feet come onto the mat. But then walk your pinky toes out towards the edge of the mat and let your knees fall in on each other. And again, just take a moment here to notice, right? Just notice the changes in the body already, just from that subtle change. Take a big breath in. Let it go. And then let both of your knees fall to the right, right? That left hip might come off of the ground. In fact, it will come off of the ground. Let it. That is okay. The knees fall over. Just stay here for a moment and just feel. And then inhale, bring the knees back up through center. And exhale, let the knees fall to the left. Again, that right hip hikes up off of the mat. Just feel that nice big opening, perhaps through the hips or the lower back or the outer edge of that right leg. Then take a big breath in, breath out. Come back through center. And this time just move at a pace that works for you. We're just letting the knees fall to one side and then to the other. All the while you are just breathing and listening to the body, listening to the head, right? Whatever comes up, we're just allowing that to happen right now. We don't have to control anything, not even the breath, right? So sometimes we do, sometimes we work towards that, and sometimes we just kind of let go of all of the control and just see what happens. All right, come back through center. This time, hug the knees into the chest. Wrap your hands around the shins, perhaps. And then maybe rock a little bit side to side. Or you take your knees in circles, kind of massaging out the lower back. Really, whatever feels good. And then just extend both of the feet up towards the ceiling. You can bring your hands behind your thighs for a little bit of support, at least to start. And then flex your feet a lot. So the toes pull back towards your face. Your heels will point up towards the ceiling. The knees can always be slightly bent here, right? You certainly don't have to have straight legs. Maybe one day we work towards that, but not the point, right? So take a big breath in, breath out, and then point your toes towards the ceiling. Right, feel lots and lots of stretch through the tops of the feet, through the ankles and the shins. Take a big breath in. And then breath out, flex the feet, toes pull back towards the face. One more time, point the toes. And then maybe take the feet in circles. Right, you might get a few cracks and pops. Maybe a lot of cracks and pops. That is okay, right? No problem. Okay, so then from here, grab onto the back of the thighs. We're gonna take a few rocks up and down the mat, the length of the mat, right? Along the length of the spine, if it feels good. If you are on your like tile kitchen floor or you're not on carpeting in general and this doesn't feel good, skip it. Just go right up to your seats. Otherwise, maybe one more big rock, then come up to your seat. Sit up nice and tall and bring your fingertips by your side. All right, so lengthen up through the spine, the shoulders roll back. Maybe a soft gaze somewhere in front of you on the ground. And then from here, we're gonna inhale, sweep the arms up. And on your exhale, just cactus the arms, pull your elbows back and down, almost like you're trying to get the elbows to meet behind you. Maybe you even gaze up. Then inhale, we're gonna do that again, just sweep the arms up. And exhale, pull the elbows down, lift the heart. Then inhale to reach up. On your exhale, bring your right hand down, reach your left arm up and over, side body stretch. Reach that arm, reach, reach, reach. Then inhale back through center. And exhale, left hand down, right arm up and over. Just steady breathing. Then inhale through center. And then exhale, just walk the hands forward, maybe fold over the legs just briefly, right? So let the head bow. Maybe you shake the head out a little bit, side to side. And then begin to rise back up. So rise up tall in your seats. Maybe roll the shoulders a few times. And again, just kind of take a moment, right? We don't have to move into the next thing or the next pose. Just find some stillness and just listen. And then slowly make your way to tabletop position, all fours. Right, so take your time to get there, however you so choose. And then when you find yourself there, we'll just check in with our foundation. So our wrists are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath of hips. And we'll find our cat-cow. So on your inhale, let the belly drop down and the head come up. And then exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, belly drops, head comes up. And then exhale to round. All right, come back through a neutral spine. We're going to continue with our cat-cow, but I want you to think about adding any other spinal movement that feels good, right? So I'll give you a few options, but then take it wherever feels good for you, right? It doesn't have to look like yoga. It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. The idea is listening to your body and seeing what feels good, right? So here we go. We're going to improvise a little bit. So again, wrists are underneath your shoulders. On your inhale, maybe the belly drops down. And as the belly drops, maybe the hips pull back towards the heels. The heart and the eyes gaze forward. And then exhale, round back forward to that starting position. Right? So inhale, belly drops, hips drop. And then exhale, round the spine, rise back up. Right? Or maybe you look over one shoulder and then the other, finding more of a side body stretch. Or maybe you kind of take your spine almost like a jump rope, right? You're just kind of moving it around in a big loop. Right? So maybe you close your eyes and you just improvise, right? What feels good? If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. If it does feel good, do more of that. Right? It is your practice. So really start to make it your own, right? Start to explore what feels good. Come back through center. Take a big breath in, breath out. All right, so from here, we're just gonna extend the right leg back behind. The belly is still hugging up and in. And then either stay here or reach the left arm out in front. All right, hold it. Hug the belly up and in so we're not kind of collapsing through our lower back. Then take a big breath in. On your breath out, maybe you bring left elbow towards the right knee underneath you. They don't have to touch. Maybe they just come close. Then inhale, open back up. And exhale, crunch. Inhale to open. Exhale, elbow to knee. Then inhale, open back up. Hold it here for just a moment. Take a big breath in. And then breath out, left hand comes down, right knee comes down. Maybe you take a child's pose for a moment, or maybe you find a few more cat-cow. So whatever feels good. The hips can sink back in your child's pose. The arms can stretch out. And all you have to do is continue to breathe. So take a big breath in, breath out. Rise back up to that tabletop position, and we will switch sides. So the left foot will sweep out behind you. Maybe that right arm reaches out as well. Right, then take a big breath in, breath out, and then maybe we crunch. So inhale here, and then exhale, right elbow towards the left knee underneath. Inhale, open, and exhale to close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. One more time. Inhale, open up. Exhale to close. Then this time, inhale, open. Stay here for a big breath in. And then breath out. Hand and knee come down. Once again, maybe a child's pose or maybe anything else that feels good, right? You could continue with some sort of spinal movement. You could tuck the toes under and sink the hips back towards the heels. Right? Yoga is not one thing. It is not one style. It is not one approach. It does not look the same almost ever when you do it, right? So no need to worry yourself with the aesthetics of a pose or doing the hardest thing. Just ease into it. Take a big breath in, breath out. Come back forward to that tabletop position. And then this time we're just going to keep the toes tucked under. We're going to send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So you can always lengthen that stance a little bit. Your knees are bent. Your feet are about hip distance apart. And then maybe you press your hands down and forward. They won't actually move, right? It's the idea of pressing them forward to press your chest back towards your thighs. Right? But nice and gentle here. So take a big breath in. Breath out. And then if it feels good, maybe you pedal out the legs, bending one knee, then the other. And then nice and slow, we're just going to walk the hands back towards the feet. So you can bend your knees quite a bit. walk the hands back, right? And we'll find ourselves in our forward fold. And always know that if I suggest walking the hands back or the feet forward and you're like, I don't think so, just get here however you want, right? Doesn't matter to me. So here we are in our forward fold. Knees are bent, relax down, the head drops, maybe sway a little bit side to side. Take a big breath in, breath out. And then on the inhale, just start to slowly roll all the way up to standing. When you get to the top, find any stretch that feels good, right? So maybe you just reach the arms up. You can find a little bit of a back bend, reaching the thumbs behind you. You could find a side body stretch. You could just yawn. But then eventually let's all meet with hands at heart center, roll the shoulders back, close the eyes, and just notice. Right, we always come back to the breath. So take a big breath in, breath out, put a slight bend in your knees, inhale, sweep your arms up, and then exhale, just hands back through heart center, right? We're just kind of gathering a little bit of energy. So inhale, sweep the arms up, exhale, hands through heart center. This time, inhale, sweep the arms up, and then exhale, forward fold over the legs. Then we'll inhale, flat back. On your exhale, knees bend, hands come down. Walk the hands back out to our plank position. All right, so take your time to get there. And when we do, wrists are underneath of shoulders, and the hips are nice and lifted, right? We're not sagging down, right? We're firm through the core, and we are nice and steady here. So take a big breath in, breath out. Then take one more big breath in. On our breath out, we're going to drop the knees down to the mat, right? We're still holding our belly in, right? So notice that my hips didn't drop with it. My hips are still lifted. And then from here, just lift the knees back up. Then we'll lower the knees back down and lift the knees back up. Just one more of those. So we'll lower the knees down. This time we're just going to drop all the way down to our belly and find our cobra. So untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat, and then your hands are by your rib cage. So if they're up here like mine are right now, more underneath my shoulders, we're just gonna slide them back a little bit, hug the elbows towards each other. Inhale, lift head and chest. Exhale, lower back down. Let's do that again. So inhale, lift the chest, maybe lift and hover the hands. Then we'll lower back down, press back up to the knees, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog once again, hips go up and back. All right, take a big breath in, breath out. Then lift that right leg back behind you. Three-legged dog. So see if you can look back and see that right foot in the sky, right? If you can, see if you can make it so that both the pinky toe and the big toe are pointing down. So we're squaring off through the hips. Find a lot of length all the way from your head out through that right heel. Take a big breath in, and then on your breath out, just bring that right foot down. Pedal it out. All right, this time lift that left leg back behind you. So again, nice square hips. The pinky toe is pointing down. You can flex that left foot. Just think lots and lots of length through that left heel. Then take a big breath in. Breath out, bring that left foot down. Bring your knees down. Keep your toes tucked under. Just send the hips back towards your heels, right? So this is a big pose, right? So if you are thinking to yourself that, oh, kneeling seems easy, right? No, not really, right? So if you're feeling a lot, the toes are tucked under and we're stretching out through the toes and the arches and it feels like it's a bit too much, maybe you take a load off and bring a little bit of the weight into your hands, right? But, and if you've ever taken a class with me before, you have probably heard me say this. This is so important, right? We spend very little time paying attention to and treating and taking care of our feet, and your feet are your foundation. So if you have tight feet, you have feet that are very tight, then it's going to affect the rest of your body, right? It could cause low back pain. It could cause neck pain. So we take care of the feet. Take a big breath in, breath out. Send the hands back out. One more time, we're going to that downward facing dog. Send the hips up and back. And then lift that right leg back behind you. And then sweep that right foot forward and through in between the hands, right? So if your foot gets stuck halfway, that's okay, no problem. Grab it with that right hand and see if you can pull it up, or find a different way to get that right leg in this lunge position, right? So we'll bring that left knee down. If you've got blocks, this is a good time to use them. We're gonna inhale and lift our heart, roll the shoulder blades back. And exhale, maybe we sink the hips a little bit further forward. Just hold it here, breathing. Maybe you allow the eyes to close. Take a big breath in, breath out. Then from here, we're gonna bring our left hand down to either our block or onto the floor. We're gonna bring a right hand up to the right thigh, and then we're gonna inhale to roll that right shoulder open, right? You can press into that right hand to help with this. And maybe you gaze up, right? But the gaze goes wherever it feels best. So if it does not feel good to look up, then find somewhere that it does feel good. All right, then inhale, reach that right arm up. Exhale just to stay. Okay, so adding a little bit of movement here. On your next inhale, we're gonna reach back towards the back of the mat. Right, the shoulder opens up, and then exhale, reach towards the front of the mat, fully square off that right shoulder towards the ground, right? So the chest faces down. We're gonna do that a few more times. We're gonna inhale, open up, reach towards the back of the mat, and then exhale, reach towards the front of the mat, square that right shoulder towards the ground. One more time, inhale to open up, and then exhale to reach. Bring that right hand down inside the right foot. It can also be on a block, right? Both hands could be on a block. And then we're just gonna inhale to find length. And exhale, maybe we bend the elbows, finding our lizard pose. So keep hugging that right knee in towards your shoulder. It certainly doesn't have to touch the shoulder, right? But we're just not letting it flare out. And take a big breath in, breath out, rise back up. And then from here, we're just gonna plant the hands. We're going to send that right knee back behind us. Tuck the toes under. We're going to go to that downward facing dog. Maybe pedal out the legs. All right, then here we go. We're going to inhale, lift that left leg back behind you. And exhale, sweep it forward and through in between the hands. Remember, you can just use the hand to help the foot up or whatever you need. Bring the right knee down. Maybe you grab those blocks again. Okay, so from here, hands can come to blocks, or they can come up to that left thigh, or they can stay on the ground. But we're gonna inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulder blades back. And exhale, maybe we can press the hips a little bit more forward, but that's not necessary. If you feel a big stretch here, then that is good. You are there. And take one more big breath in, breath out. Right hand comes down either to that block or it comes down all the way to the floor. Left hand comes to the left thigh, and then we'll roll that left shoulder open. Maybe you gaze up. And then maybe you reach up towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in, breath out, and then let's find that movement. So on your next inhale, reach that left arm back towards the back of the mat. And then exhale, reach towards the front of the mat, square that shoulder to the ground. 2 more times. Inhale to open. And then exhale to close. 1 more time. Inhale, open up. Exhale, reach. Bring that left hand down inside the left foot. Again, both hands can be on blocks or on the ground. We're going to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, stay here, or maybe you fold a little bit forward. All right, the elbows can bend. And you can always still support yourself here, right? You could bring blocks underneath your elbows. If you want to go down, but not that far, that is good. Okay, so take a big breath in, breath out. And then slowly start to rise back up. All right, move maybe your blocks off to the side for a moment. Plant the hands. You could lift that right knee up, or you could just step that left knee back. Tuck the toes under. Once again, downward facing dog. Then take a big breath in, breath out. And then slowly start to walk the feet up to meet the hands at the top of the mat. Remember, you can bend your knees here, and you can always have hands on blocks. Okay, so hang in your forward fold. Then inhale to a flat back. Exhale, just fold down. Then inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just feel, right? Just notice, just acknowledge anything that is going on. And take a big breath in, breath out. All right, so we're gonna flow through a little standing series, right? So stick with me. We're gonna inhale, sweep the arms up. On your exhale, we're just gonna step that left foot to the back of the mat. Crescent lunge. So the right knee is over the right ankle, the left heel is up in the back. And then just stay here, right? So no need to find our next pose. Let's just linger here for a moment. Maybe you feel the stretch in the front of that left hip. And take a big breath in, breath out. Open up for warrior two. So that left heel comes down and the arms will sweep out to the side. And just breathe here, right? So in general, what we are kind of sort of looking for is, the heel of the right foot is more or less in the center of the arch of the left foot, right? It doesn't have to be exactly like that, right? We're just shooting for somewhere in there. Okay, take a big breath in, breath out. And we're coming all the way back to that crescent lunge. So the left arm will sweep forward as the left heel comes up. And then just step all the way up to standing. Bring hands to heart center. All right, we're gonna do that on the other side. So on the inhale, arms sweep up, right foot steps back. Just stay here, crescent lunge. Right heel up, left knee over left ankle. Relax the shoulders perhaps, or maybe relax the jawline. And then take a big breath in, breath out. Warrior two, right heel comes down, parallel-ish to the back of the mat. Arms sweep out. Right, and always know that this is okay, or this is okay, right? Hands to heart center, hands by your side. Right, sometimes finding a little bit of ease in the upper body allows us to find a little bit more awareness in our legs, right? A little bit more awareness in other parts. So take a big breath in, breath out, back to that crescent lunge. Right arm sweeps forward, right heel comes up. And then just step forward to standing, hands to heart center. Maybe you shake it out a little bit, right? Find a little bit of movement. Okay, we're gonna add on. We're gonna do both those poses, then we're gonna add one more on. Okay, so from here, we're gonna inhale, sweep the arms up, step the left foot back, crescent lunge, take a big breath in, and then breath out, open up, warrior two. Arms sweep out. All right, so then from here, we're gonna start to straighten that right leg, right, your front leg. Then we're gonna keep a slight bend in it, right? So we don't really wanna hyperextend necessarily here. Reach out with the right fingertips and then bring that right hand down to either your shin or maybe to a block. Left arm can reach up, triangle pose, right? So we're not putting a lot of weight in that right hand, right? We're not kind of collapsing into this here, but we're using the strength of our core to hold ourselves up. And take a big breath in, breath out. We'll rise back up to that warrior two. So bend back into that right knee. Then inhale, sweep the left arm forward as the left heel comes up, crescent lunge. And then step up to standing, hands to heart center. Maybe shake it out. Okay, here we go. Other side. Inhale, sweep the arms up, right foot steps back. Take a big breath in. And then breath out, open up, warrior two. Okay, make any adjustments and take a big breath in, Breath out, straighten through that left leg, straight-ish, right? Slight bend perhaps. And then reach out with the left fingertips. When you can reach no more, left fingertips come down, right arm reaches up, triangle pose, right? Think length through the spine so we're not collapsing down. The head's not all weird, right? The neck is part of your spine, right? So try to keep it more or less in line. Take one more big breath in. Breath out, rise back up, warrior two, left knee bends, and then crescent lunge. Right foot, heel comes up, right arm reaches up. Take a big breath in, and then breath out, step forward. Hands to heart center, maybe you shake it out. Okay, all right, so while we are up here, we're gonna do a little bit of balancing. So our first one is just gonna be our tree pose. So your feet will be about hip distance apart to start. And then we're gonna bring the right foot to one of three places. So you can either kickstand, the toes can be down, the heel can be right above that left ankle, or you can bring your right foot inside of the calf, or maybe you bring the right foot all the way up into the thigh. Your choice, we're just not pressing into the side of the knee. Okay, so then hands come to heart center, roll the shoulder blades back, lift the heart up towards the thumbs. Oh, and if you fall, not a big deal. You can get back into it. Okay, so from here, you can stay here, or maybe you reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Right, it always helps to find somewhere to look that is not moving. So if you are still doing rock solid in your tree, maybe you lift the heart a little bit and maybe you take the gaze up towards the ceiling, right? That is usually about the time that I fall out of the pose, right? And that is okay. It is harder to balance if you have not very much to look at. Take a big breath in, breath out. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back through center. Bring that right foot down, maybe shake out that left foot. You could take kind of ankle circles or something like that. And then we'll switch sides. So that right foot will plant down and that left foot will go hopefully, probably, I guess, where it went on the other side, right? So either kickstand, calf, or thigh. Up to you. Then hands to heart center. Roll the shoulder back. Lift the heart. Take a big breath in. Breath out. Maybe you reach the arms up. Maybe you lift the heart. Maybe you lift the gaze. Maybe you start blowing around, and that is okay. Try to feel the roots of your toes. Take a big breath in and out. 3, 2, 1. Slowly, hopefully, maybe with control, we come out of the pose. Shake it out. Maybe take a few ankle circles on that standing foot. All right, so we've got one more here. So similar in the fact that we're balancing on one leg. Okay, so we're gonna sink the hips down into a little bit of a chair, right? So we'll send the hips back and down. And then we're gonna cross the left ankle over the right thigh, right? So kind of making this almost figure 4 type of thing, right? Then bring your hands to heart center and you can stay here, right? A slight bend in the right knee, or you can start to sink the hips back and down, right? Keep the shoulders rolling back, keep the collarbones broad. And maybe if you still feel good, you start to bring the elbows all the way down towards that lifted shin, right? You certainly don't have to, right? If the shoulders start to round forward, then come up a little bit, no problem. All right, 3, 2, 1, slowly rising up. Shake it out. And then we'll switch sides. So we'll sink down into that little bit of a chair, slight bend in the knees, then bring that right ankle over the left thigh. Let the knee fall out to the side, and then hands to heart center. Maybe you start to sink the hips down. Keep the shoulders rolling back, but if you so choose, maybe you start to lean down even more, bringing elbows towards the lifted shin. Three, 2, 1, slowly coming out, shake it out. All right, so from here, we are going to just take our feet and step them out wide on the mat. Right, so your feet are parallel-ish, and they're wide. Cool. Okay, so from here, bring your hands to your hips. We're gonna inhale, roll the shoulders back, and exhale just to stay. Okay, then reach your arms out to the side. Inhale to sweep the arms up. Maybe you interlace fingers. If this is too much on the shoulders though, this is a great place to be, no problem. But so maybe you have fingers interlaced, maybe you don't. We're gonna inhale, find even more length. And then on your exhale, just lean towards the right. Right, so you're pressing a lot through that right foot, but you're also still grounding through the left foot. So you're not getting light on the left foot. Use your core a lot here. It might not look like much, but this is not easy. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, lean to the left. Again, remember your foundation. The feet are strong, the legs are strong, the core is strong. Take a big breath in, breath out, rise back up, and then just fold down over the legs so the hands will come down to the ground or to blocks. And just let the head hang, right? So you could shake it out a little bit here. And then we're going to walk both of our hands over towards the right foot. We're going to bend into the right knee, stick our bum back, our heart forward, just a little bit of a side lunge. Then come back through center, same thing, other side. Walk the hands towards the left, bend the left knee, stick your bum out. And then just moving side to side. All right, back and forth. You could linger on one side and then move to the other, or you could kind of just move back and forth, or, right, this is where you could start to add a little bit of flair. Do your own thing. If you want to find a little bit of a twist with that side lunge, feel free to do so. Right? It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing necessarily. It also doesn't have to look the same side to side, right? So do what feels good. And then come back through center. Take your time to get there. And then inhale to a flat back. Put a bend in your knees. Bring your hands to your hips. Rise up to standing. And then once again, we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, just bring the hands through heart center. Okay, so from here, bring your heels and your toes out a little bit. And we're gonna sink our hips down, so horse stance. Okay, then bring your hands to your thighs and let your hands take some of the weight into your legs, right? So it doesn't feel like quite so much on the legs. Okay, so your shoulders are actually kind of hunching up a little bit towards your ears. Then we're gonna inhale to find length. And then exhale, right shoulder pivots through the center, look over the left shoulder. That right arm doesn't have to be straight, but we are kind of straightening it a little bit, right? Like we're pressing into that right leg to twist a little bit more. Then inhale back through center. Exhale, left shoulder drops down, look over the right. Then inhale through center. Exhale, just rise up, the legs straighten. Inhale to reach the arms up. And then exhale, bend into the knees, sink back down, hands come through heart center. Let's do that again. We'll inhale to rise up. And exhale down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale down. Then we'll inhale to rise up. And then just exhale, we're just stepping to the top of the mat. Bring your hands through heart center, maybe shake it out a little bit. Find a little bit of stillness. Just feel. And take a big breath in. Breath out. All right, we're just got to get down to the floor. So we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Then inhale to a flat back. On your exhale, bend the knees, hands come down, step the feet back to plank. But then just lower the knees down to the mat. Okay, so we're gonna find two camel poses. So these can be quite big poses, right? So take your time. There's no need to get to any particular depth of this pose, right? We are just going to open up a little bit. So you're gonna take your fists or maybe the palms of your hands to your lower back. And then from here, we're gonna kind of tuck the tailbone, lengthen the tailbone down, right? It kind of clenches your butt cheeks a little bit. Roll the shoulders back and hug your elbows towards each other. And then maybe you just lift the heart, maybe you lift the gaze a bit. This already might be enough, right? This is a big stretch on your shoulders and your pecs, so you can stay right here. If you do want a little bit more, take a big breath in. And then on your breath out, just start to lean back a little bit at a time. If you start to feel compression in the lower back, then you come out, right? The hips are still pressing forward. The heart is still reaching towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in, breath out, rise back up, sink the hips towards the heels, right? So if you come out of a big back bend, like camel is quite a big back bend, and your first want is to go into some sort of forward fold, then it's likely that you've gone just a little bit too far in it, right? No problem. We just want to avoid compression in the lower back. So the next time you just kind of ease up a bit, right? No need to go so far. Let's do it one more time. So we're going to lift up. We're going to bring fists to lower back or palms. We're going to set all that up again, right? Lengthen the tailbone down. Roll the shoulders back, hug the elbows in, and then lift the heart. Stay here if you want. If you want more, take a big breath in. And then breath out. Start to lean back, but press the hips forward. Press the heart up, right? We're growing taller, even though we're leaning back. Take a big breath in. Breath out. If it's in your practice, maybe you bring hands to your heels, right? And you can always keep the chin tucked. Take one more big breath in. Breath out. Rise all the way back up. Sink the hips towards the heels. Just chill. All right, and then let's come to a seat. So we will find a seat. Soles of the feet come together, knees out wide, and then bring your hands to your shins. We're gonna inhale to sit up. Stay here if you like, or exhale and maybe you fold. All right, and I'm gonna give you a few breaths here, so really just allow yourself to let go. Allow the breath to deepen. Relax the jaw, relax the eyebrows. Relax whatever doesn't need to be working. And then inhale, rise back up. Okay, so from here, we're going to take the legs out into a straddle. And it doesn't have to be that wide, right? Your legs can be wherever you really want them to be. This is always a good time to have a block or a big pillow, or like maybe your dog. Actually, Ranger usually does join me for this one, but I don't know where he is. So, okay, so we're going to inhale to sit up nice and tall. Stay here if this feels good, okay? Right? If you want a little bit more, maybe you exhale and you start to lean, fold a little bit forward, right? So keep the shoulders back at first, right? So at first we keep the shoulders back, we keep the spine nice and long, maybe you flex the feet, right? But then once you get where you're going, maybe you drop the head, right? Allow yourself to relax. It's always really nice here to be able to rest your forehead on something, right? We tend to hold a lot of tension in our face. So when you can kind of place your forehead on something, it just really allows you to relax a little bit more, allows you to feel a little bit more grounded, a bit more supported. And take a big breath in, let it go. Maybe you can go just that teensy bit deeper, but maybe not, right? No need, only if it feels good. And take one more big breath in, breath out, and slowly, slowly rise back up. Maybe you move those blocks off to the side if you have got them. Sweep the legs out long, so both the legs, they come together, okay? And then maybe you scoop your butt cheeks out of the way if they are in the way, right? So you can just sit up a little bit taller. So as with all folds, right? If this is enough, then this is enough. You can bring hands behind you. You could just stay sitting up nice and tall. Knees can still be bent. If you want more, inhale, maybe the arms reach up. Exhale, maybe you fold down over the legs. Your belly comes towards the thighs. Doesn't have to touch necessarily. And then when you get where you're going, then maybe you let the head drop a bit. And then slowly we're gonna rise back up. Reach your arms out long. So we're gonna roll onto our back. We're gonna try to keep the heels on the ground. They'll slide back, right? But see if you can keep them from lifting off of the mat, and see if we can do this as slow as possible, right? So reach your arms out, and then on your exhale, start to slowly roll one vertebrae at a time down onto your back. So really engage through the core. Feel that shake. Maybe even stay for a moment somewhere where you're shaky. Right, I'm shaking, you can hear it in my voice. All right, then slowly roll all the way down and just collapse into the mat, right? So just get really heavy. And then bring your feet in towards your bum. And bring your hands down by your side so your feet are about hip distance apart. Press through the bottom of your feet, and then on a nice long inhale, we'll slowly lift hips all the way up towards the ceiling. And then exhale to slowly lower back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale to lower. And then 1 more time. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, lower down. And then from here, we're going to hug the right knee into the chest, extend the left leg out long. And then take that right knee out towards your right armpit. So you can always bring right elbow towards the floor for a little bit more support. But we're just kind of opening up to the side. You could always find a little bit of movement, hugging the knee in and out. And then come back through center and take that right knee across the body for our twist, right? So right knee comes across the body, right arm reaches out long, left arm reaches out long. Okay, so first just feel, take a big breath in, breath out. And now listen to my words, right? Okay, so we're gonna take the right fingertips. We're gonna bring them, we're just gonna bend at the elbow so that the right fingertips can kind of come to the front of the right shoulder or pec. And then we're gonna let the right fingertips trace across the chest, down the left arm, and then out past the left fingertips. And then inhale, slowly trace back. So it comes back up the left arm, across the chest, and then opening up wide, right? So doing that 2 more times, tracing across the chest, down the arm, past the left fingertips, and then inhaling to open back up. 1 more time, move with your breath. And then once you've opened back up into that twist, just stay there and get really heavy. The right shoulder drops. And if that bottom leg, that left leg is super rigid and straight, see if you can relax it a bit. And take a big breath in, breath out. And then just slowly flop back through center, right? Let that right leg go out long. Roll onto your back. And just feel for a moment, right? Let the body settle. And then let's do that on the other side. So the left knee will draw in. And first we'll take the left knee out towards the left armpit, right? Left elbow can always come down towards the floor for support if it reaches. And then maybe you find that little bit of movement if it felt good. And then slowly come back through center. Let the left knee cross the body, opening up into our twist. So the left arm will open up, the right arm will open up. Just feel for a moment. And then bend the left elbow. Let the left fingertips come to the front of that left shoulder or chest. Then let that left fingertip lead the way. It traces across the chest, down the right arm, and past the right fingertips. And then inhale, opening back up, right? That left arm just traces all the way back open into the twist. 2 more times just like that, right? The rest of the body is really passive here. You're letting the left fingertips lead the way. Let's do 1 more. And then just open up into this twist. Stay there for a moment. Stay heavy. Stay quiet. Stay present. And then take a big breath in. Breath out. Flop, roll onto your back. Let that left leg go out long. And just find your Shavasana. So stay really heavy on the mat. And then relax anything that you might still be holding on. Relax the jaw. Relax the shoulders. And then relax the hips. And take a big breath in. Let it go. And then stay here as long as you need. As always, this is your time. If you feel rested and comfortable, then stay a while longer. But this is where I leave you. So until next time, keep on keeping on. Know that you are not alone. Know that we are all in this together. Namaste.